What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another Reddit video here on the Life Stories channel. My name's Dylan, and today we're going to be looking at some stories from the subreddit Entitled Parents, so sit back, relax and enjoy the show. My step-grandfather stalked me and my sister because his feelings got hurt. Not my parent, but a grandparent, and the names have been changed. Also, I'll be swearing a bit and mention religion because of how I feel on this situation and how it pertains to my feelings about this situation. I was about 2 to 3 months past my suicide attempt and was not feeling the best. My sister came back from school in Oregon for Christmas break, and me, my sister and my dad went to visit my grandmother, who was going through chemotherapy and radiation for uterine cancer. She made a full recovery. We went to visit her, not to do anything with her husband. Her husband, who we will call Dick, has not been liked by anyone in the family. A few of the family members, myself included, would gladly give him what he deserves. Dick has been a dick ever since my grandmother married him. He would violently yell at her for doing just one thing wrong, and it's disgusting. I'm surprised my grandmother puts up with his rubbish. She's a hard worker and doesn't take anything from no one. I also heard later on that Dick has a thing for cowboys and was caught pleasuring himself in a Lone Rider costume. The kicker is that Dick is a Christian Scientist. No offense for anyone who might be a Christian Scientist, but you can cross a line. For those who don't know this, Christian Scientists believe in praying instead of using medicine. If this is wrong, please let me know so I can correct this. His previous wife passed away because of the beliefs, no big deal, but his daughter is a different story. His daughter, Anna, had a high fever and needed treatment. Turns out no treatment was given to her because of Dick's beliefs, resulting in her brain being cooked and knocking Anna's mental age at around a 6-year-old. I'm fine if an adult refuses medicine because of their beliefs, but you don't let your daughter bloomin' brain damage because you think praying is the best thing to do. Again, no offense to anyone, but you can cross a line. On our visit, we all go out to eat in a nice restaurant for lunch. The burger I got was good, but it was a bit juicy and left some stains on my face that were hard to come off. This comes up later. My dad and grandmother had to go to a radiation appointment, so me and my sister stay with Dick. I get a call from my dad saying that my grandmother lost her pair of gloves earlier in the day and wanted me and my sister to look for them, but nothing was said about Dick. I let my sister know to come with me, and I also told Dick that we were leaving to find the gloves and to hang around the block for a bit. He says okay, and we leave to go look for the gloves. Me and my sister found the gloves at the store we were at earlier and proceeded to go back to the restaurant. When we got there, Dick was nowhere to be found. I looked at the time and it was past 1 o'clock, so he must have gone back to work. There was about an hour left before the radiation appointment ended, so me and my sister decided to hang around the block looking at some of the shops before we were picked up. Nothing major happened that we knew of, and we were picked up and headed back to grandmother's and Dick's house. A little before dinner started, Dick gets back and wanted to speak to me and my sister in private. We were confused, but we went down and talked with him. Dick decided to yell at us, but I do not fully remember what was said, but it went a little bit like this. Dick, I'm so ashamed and infuriated at both of you. Both of you are so disrespectful. Me and my sister. What? I'm confused. What? Dick, you two left me alone at lunch and embarrassed me. The waitress said that it was awful that you two left me alone. Me. A good amount of the people in this town hate you. What? Dick. And OP, I am deeply offended by you playing with your napkin at lunch. Me. You saw the stains. I was cleaning a stain off my face. What the hell are you on about? There were a few other things, like I was raised to eat like the Queen of England was with me, and your parents know that they taught you better. He then showed his true colours. Dick. I was so offended by you two not inviting me that I followed you guys around whilst you had fun shopping without me. Me and my sister. What? Dick. I followed you around into all of the shops that we went in and blah blah blah. He bloomin' stalked me and my sister because his blooming feelings were hurt? What the hell, Dick? I lost track of what happened at that point because I was ready to lose my temper. My sister looked like she was ready to murder everyone in the house. Dick finished talking to us after about half an hour before getting back to go upstairs, acting like nothing happened. Me and my sister looked at each other with the understanding of the same rage that we had. We back up and she decided to pout all of dinner, even though she was 18 at the time, but go to hell with it. Well, I don't do too well with confrontation, so I just stewed with anger. After dinner, some family pulled me over wondering what Dick talked to me and my sister about. I told them and they were astonished. My sister locked herself away in the room she was sleeping in and started crying. My dad asks too, and I tell him, as well as telling him that we don't feel comfortable staying there anymore and we will stay in our hotel instead. He freaked out, not good at confrontation as well, and insisted that we stay. We all decide to stay after a long talk and multiple calls to my mum, who was very aggressive in defending me and my sister, and a compromise. My dad had to call my grandmother and tell her what happened. He did call her and to let her know, followed by half apologising for Dick and half shifting the blame, saying he's just stressed from work and other rubbish. I ended up remembering this because my grandmother asked how I was doing and invited me over for Thanksgiving. I tell her that I was going through some mental issues. Before I know it, Dick's on the phone. He starts going on about how I will pray for you and God will always be on your side. Joke's on him, I don't believe in his God. I ended up muting my side of the call and just swearing at him. I then talked to a friend and decided to take it here. Again, I don't mean to offend anyone who's a Christian Scientist, but being someone like Dick means you get nothing but the worst from me, and I know that my sister's still mad about it as well as myself, so I was planning on seeing what we can do appropriately to show him that it's not okay to blooming stalk your grandchildren, regardless if they're blood or by law. Especially if you think that letting your kid blooming get brain damage is better than blooming medicine. Well, I'd put the grandfather of OP in the same category as anti-vaxxers. They're completely blooming balmy and I completely disagree with them and they can go to hell as far as I'm concerned. Entitled Stepmom yells at me for not letting her kids in my room. Important info. I'm a 15-year-old male and I have two sisters, aged 14 Laura and 16 Liz, and a few entitled step-siblings. I have anorexia, severe anxiety and epilepsy, which I have a seizure alert dog / service dog Chase for. Chase is really close to me as I've had him for years and he's my best friend. I have been hospitalised for my anorexia and my epilepsy. If I don't eat my food, I have to get tubed, a tube that goes down through my nose into my stomach. Cast: entitled mum, entitled sister, and entitled brother. The story. Our mum recently passed away a few months ago. My dad for some reason married a douchebag of a person afterwards. My sisters and I hate her and her kids. We have a fairly big house in which entitled mother and her devil children moved in with us this week. Now me and my sister Liz have to share a room. We're okay with it since it's that or share a room with ES or EB. I usually either sit in my room doing homework, playing games or watching TV. Yesterday morning I was getting fed through the feeding tube and was drinking tea, peacefully chilling out and playing some Minecraft because it was the weekend. The entitled mother bursts into our room demanding that I let entitled sister and entitled brother play, and when she sees the tubes in my nose, she screams like a dying banshee that has mental problems. It was so friggin' loud. She then started yelling at me that I take it out because it would mess up her kid's brain. It's not like I'm a zombie in a horror movie, just a tube in my nose. I will admit I do wear a mask where I have it in public. Of course I say no and explain it's how I eat. My dad came over to see what was up and he sees entitled mother looking at me and he pulled entitled mother out and explained why I had a tube in. I think she understood after that. Later that day, Liz was playing on her HTC Cosmos when someone comes knocking. I open the door to see Laura asking to play with Chase. I say sure and she comes in. Note, I don't handle loud noises very well, so I was fairly shaky after all of the screaming. We're watching and laughing at Liz failing when we hear a knock on the door, and it's none other than an entitled brother. He sees Laura petting Chase and Liz playing on the HTC, and he gets bright red. It looked like a bomb went off inside him. He then starts screaming at me for not letting him play or pet Chase, and I just shut the door. When he knocks on the door again and I open it, entitled mother is standing there telling me to let her son in. She then sees the tube still in my mouth and tries to rip it out, which is extremely painful. I slid to the floor coughing because the tube wasn't closed, so some of the fluid spilt into my airway and to my nose. Dad came over right away as I recovered from coughing, and I realised that I had the pins and needles feeling spreading in my legs, the signs of a seizure. After that, I passed into a seizure for about 3 or 4 minutes. When I woke up, I found Chase lying on me, entitled mother and entitled sister watching me in horror, Liz trying to calm me down, and my dad looking like he was ready to have a fight with entitled mother for yelling at us again. He told entitled mother and entitled sister to stop bothering us. They stopped for the rest of the weekend, and I'm still yet to talk to either of them. Damn, I hate my new stepmom. I mean, I might be wrong about this, but I think by ripping out the tube and causing a seizure, it's technically attempted murder? I'd probably go to r/legal advice to look for some help if I was OP. Entitled mother demands a slushie. So while I was a senior in high school, I worked in a Kmart for the Xmas season. One night about 10:30 PM, right before closing, a mother and daughter walk in, with the daughter looking like she was in a lot of pain, and the mother makes a beeline straight for me. Entitled mother: "Excuse me, can my daughter have a slushie?" A bit of context, the Kmart I worked at was the one that had a pizza chain in that when open served slushies. Me: "I'm sorry, I don't work at the pizza chain, so I can't get you a slushie." Entitled mother: "My daughter just had her wisdom teeth pulled and she needs a slushie to help with the pain." I knew that it would make her daughter's situation a bit worse by causing a dry socket, plus only pizza chain employees were allowed to turn on the slushie machine or any beverage machine in that section. Me: "I can try, but like I said, I'm not authorised to turn on the machine." Entitled mother: "Just try." I proceed to crap a cup and find a way to turn on the machine. Actually, I was just going through the motions. Me: "I'm sorry, I can't find a way to turn on the machine." Entitled mother: "Well, can you at least get a soda or a water? My daughter's in pain." Me: "I told you already that only the pizza chain employees can turn on the machines in this area, and they're closed. You're welcome to buy a bottle of water before we close." Entitled mother: "My daughter is in pain from her surgery and wants a slushie. If you can't get her one, I will tell your manager." My manager arrives after seeing this on the cameras, wondering why I haven't finished my closing duties yet, and asks me what's going on. Entitled mother: "Your employee won't get my daughter a slushie." Manager: "Well, he's not authorised to turn on the machine since only pizza chain employees can do it and they're closed at this time." The daughter entitled mother walk out in a big huff, and I felt sorry for the daughter this time. Some people's parents, eh? Yeah, OP, how dare you not do something that you're not hired to do, that you're not allowed to do. I'm gonna get you in trouble for being hired at the wrong store. Well guys, that's it for today's video. If you did enjoy, leave a like rating down below. A quick shout out to Trisha, who recommended a bit of a cold medicine kind of solution for my cold a couple of days ago. It worked out a treat, and I really appreciate you putting that in the comments section below. I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.